You've never had a C-section before, so it's very, very rare. It's like literally less than 1 in a million chance that your uterus would rupture with a cervidil induction, given that you had no other scarring on your uterus from previous C-sections or anything.
Right.
So that's what happened. I know it's not a great explanation, and we don't know why it happens for some women and not for others, but we do know that it's really a very rare occurrence. So when baby was in the belly, baby wasn't getting the same blood supply that he was used to getting for your whole pregnancy because your uterus was open. So for that period of time, baby was getting a little bit less than what he was used to, which was why baby has needed some extra help now.
Wait, so you saying like he been in my stomach like all this time since the end of pregnancy, or
No, just at that very end.
Oh, okay,
The
okay.
very end, not the whole time. No. He's been in your uterus the whole time up until the very, very end when we were running back. So that's why everything happened so fast, so that he wasn't in your belly for a long time. He wasn't outside of that protected uterus and everything for long. We try to minimize that time as much as possible when that happens, but there's no predicting that it's going to really happen. Sometimes we know if you were contracting too much, but your contraction pattern was what we would have expected it to be. It wasn't anything crazy.
Was it like too much force? What happened?
It's really hard to say. It wasn't that there was that much force. It's that for whatever reason.
Because it was nothing wrong with her uterus.
No, there wasn't. It's just for whatever reason during this labor, the uterus it opened up when it shouldn't have.
Why?
It just did. Labor is stressful on the body, but we know that she's labored well with all her other babies before.
Exactly.
So there's not a great answer for why. It wouldn't have happened if you weren't pregnant and in labor, but those are minimal risk factors. So it's really hard to say exactly why. I know that's not satisfying. I wish I had a better answer for you, because that's hard. That's really hard.
I seen you run out of the room crying. Why? What happened? What's wrong? What happened?
I was just really upset because it was a really intense situation, and it is really rare that it happens.
And then why couldn't I go in to see why y'all?
OR.
Yeah.
So when it's an emergency, we had to give her some general anesthesia. We couldn't just numb her, and because when we do general anesthesia, they just have to monitor her a little more closely. There's not really a space for you to be in the OR, and there was a lot of people and a lot going on. So for her safety and the safety of the baby, we couldn't really have any extra people in there that weren't actively working on helping Marcella and your baby.
Okay, so when y'all told us to leave for the epidural procedure, why did it take so long?
The epidural procedure, sometimes it takes a little bit longer, and we wanted to make sure that you got cleaned up, and I put in that urinary catheter and that she had privacy for that.
Yeah. Then when I came back, I heard a lot of laughter. It was.
Yeah,
it wasn't.
So right after the epidural, baby had looked great the whole time you were on the epidural, and everything was going well. So things were good. We were in a good place, and everything that happened was very sudden. It all happened after that, close to when you came back.
Right when we came,
right as you were coming back, because you had the sharp pain and that blood, and that was different.
Where did that come from, though?
So that came from probably her uterus was starting to rupture at that time. So that's why we were concerned. So that's why all those people came in, and we were listening to baby, and we were running back to the OR.
So wait, so I don't understand this. So if they do, I had to get emergency cesarean, why give him the scrubs if like he was able to come back there?
I'm not sure. I don't know if they thought maybe it wasn't going to be as emergent, and they were hoping that, when we got in there, baby's heart rate would be a little bit higher, but it was still where it was, so we decided that it was definitely, we needed to start the anesthesia and couldn't just leave so that we could get everything done even faster. So I think that there was maybe a little bit of hope that it wouldn't be as urgent, but it still was as urgent once we got back there. Because in a more controlled situation, we let the dad or a person of your choice to come back with you after we have you all set. But we always make sure, even during a scheduled C-section before someone comes back, that mom is nice and numb, that we listen to baby and baby sounds good. So all of that is normal. But if those steps don't happen, then we don't let someone else in the OR.
Okay, so all the way through the epidural procedure, the baby was fine, right?
The baby was great, yeah.
And I'm sure that it's proper procedure to know that if the baby is not getting oxygen, you know that, right?
Well, I mean, in what way? When we knew and we went back, but I'm not sure what you mean.
Because the doctor told me that the guy in the NICU, he said that the baby lost a lot of oxygen to the brain.
Mm-hmm.
And he was saying that, like.
Oh, okay, I understand what you're saying. Like, he was telling us basically, like, he'd been out of oxygen for like a while, as if like, okay, so it was like, told to me, like, from the time that once from cesarean, him getting out of there, like, it didn't take no time, like, it was fast enough. But then from the guy from the NICU was making it seem like that the baby was like out of oxygen for a while, so he lost a lot of oxygen. So it was like kind of confusing to us, like, why did he have to, why is it,
So he must mean in relative terms. So in relative terms, even a couple of minutes without oxygen or with less oxygen than he was getting throughout the pregnancy and the rest of the delivery or labor before that happened, a couple minutes can be a long time for any human to not have oxygen. So as fast as we could, we did as fast as we could, but it's still a relatively long time for a baby not to have oxygen. But babies are more resilient than adults, which is why we don't know how baby's going to do until we take baby off only and we see. Babies are very unpredictable in that way. So that's what he meant by the long time. Now, at the time that she had that pain and that bleeding, we didn't know exactly what happened, because a different things that can happen in labor can cause that. So we didn't know what it was until we opened her up and actually did the C-section. We just knew we had to get the baby out, that baby was showing signs of distress there, so that's why we ran back. But we didn't know exactly what was happening until we open up the abdomen and we can see with our eyes what happened. So it's not something that happened while it's happening, it's something that you see after.
So do you think, like, that, you probably could have, scraped the uterus or, kind of fractured it when you put the, what is it called, when you did the
epidural?
Yeah.
I know, because the epidural's in the back. It goes into the space.
Okay.
Oh,
okay.
The urinary catheter?
Yeah, that's what I was.
So the urinary catheter goes in your urethra, which is where pee comes out of, and that goes right to the bladder. That is more on the outside. I wasn't inside of her vaginal canal. And the way that the uterus ruptured, like, even if I had, like, people check her cervix to see when she's dilated, even if I had done something like that, that wouldn't rupture the uterus.
What about the induction?
The cervical induction? It can put you at a little bit of a higher risk, but the risk of that happening with Cervidil is what we consider one of the most gentler induction agents. So the chances of that happening are so small that there's not even studies that give us great numbers on that. If that makes sense. I know that doesn't
I know there's like
really-
different types
of ways to induce.
right. So there's like, I don't know if that was the one I had when I had with my son, like almost 2 years ago. Like that one, when the girl did, it was like, it felt like paper.
So that's probably Cervidil, because that's what it is. It's like the medication's on a little bit of paper
And
that
I don't
goes
remember
into
she
your
said they
vagina.
piece like leave it out though. I don't remember
Yeah.
that. I don't know. I remember her lady the first day doing it the first time, and it felt like that she put paper and it was hurting so
It was
bad.
like scratchy. The paper's
Yeah.
scratchy for Cervidil.
And like when the other girl
Sometimes
did it,
we put a little water on it when we put it in, so that makes it feel a little less scratchy. Though.
yeah, I know what it's saying. It was okay. So.
It didn't feel as painful.
Yeah. Well,
I wish I had better answers. I really wish. Was that helpful? Do you feel?
I don't know. I just feel like I'm honestly, I feel like it was a terrible job. Like I come back from when y'all was doing the epidural, and y'all in there laughing. Like it's not a laughing matter. Like
I'm sorry, I don't remember.
I remember clearly,
Okay.
you know, and you know, I'm gonna be honest. You were one of them,
Okay.
you know, and I don't understand like why what was so funny. You know, two people almost lost their life.
Of course. Yeah.
You know, and I don't understand that. I don't understand it. But I mean, you know, we all as human beings know what we did, and Lord knows what you did. You know, and I don't know. I leave it in His hands.
I'm sorry, I don't remember laughing. I could have been laughing before any of the emergency started over something at some point, but I assure you that I have taken this very seriously. This isn't something I would laugh about. I know I do laugh when I am nervous sometimes, but it would not have been a laugh that I found humorous, and I can tell you that nobody in that room thought that situation was humorous. We help bring life into the world every day, and that's really important to us to take care of our mamas and our babies well. So I'm sorry if that's what you saw, and I wish I could tell you I remembered laughing so that I could help explain what was happening at that moment better, but I don't remember laughing. So I don't know if it was a nervous laugh at that time, or if we were talking about something before you were in that pain with that bleeding that I thought was funny, that wasn't related to the emergency that was happening. But I
How do I go about getting the hospital report before she gets discharged?
So normally to get medical records, that's something that you get after the patient's discharged, because you have to go through the medical records department to get the records officially.
And where's that located? Downstairs?
It should be downstairs. I honestly don't know exactly where it is downstairs.
And what's your name?
Mary
Murray what?
DeMacy.
DeMacy.
Yep. But I am sorry. I don't know why. If you saw people laughing, or you thought they were laughing, and maybe they were nervous, or they were saying something that was misinterpreted. But I can assure you, not one person in that room thought it was funny. I know that, and I'm sorry that that's how you felt. That must feel really awful. But nobody feels that it was humorous.